Hello, this is James, and welcome to the webcast. This test webcast that I'm doing is to give everybody an idea of what the webcast is going to be like and how it's going to look and sound. I'm using some software here that I looked up on the internet and got, and it acts as a video mixer, live video mixer. I can do several different shots and angles. Like this is shot number one. I can add, like, turn this camera on here, set it up to webcam. Then I can go into my settings here and go in under camera and set that camera up and turn it on. And that is a close-up view of my dry erase board, and I can do whatever I want to do, draw, or use that to make my point a little clearer, what I'm trying to get across. Come back here, I can do different types of changes of views. I can do that, merge, fade, or just a hard quick cut like this. Also, what's nice about this software is I can do PowerPoint and have the verses that I'm talking about up on the screen for people to read, which makes it a lot easier to learn and a lot easier to teach. Plus, I can do, which I've not set up yet, but I can have Skype set up to where I can bring it up just like this, but it would be Skype instead of this dry erase. And on the screen you would see the caller, and the caller could be anybody that is going to host the show with me, and that they can help me with the commentary. So, and with that I can switch in between. When I'm talking, I can switch to me and I can make my point, or say or I can go to the caller on Skype. And so to make that a little bit clearer, can't find my dry erase pen. Here it is. So this is like, say they have a comment and they're talking, and then I'll have a comment and I want to say, well, you notice that in the first part of Acts they use the name Theophilus, and which means lover of God, and that's who he's addressing the reader as. So, and then the guy that I have on the show to help will have a comment and say, that's Theophilus, blah 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 blah, and then I'll come back and say something. Yes, you're correct. Okay, let's move on with the next slide. So you get an idea of how it's going to work. Now I don't know the processing power of my PC, if it will be able to handle more than one Skype caller, but also, if it can't, I have another computer that I can use, and instead of the dry erase board, I can have this television screen in the back, which would be hooked up to Skype from another computer, and what makes that interesting or good to use is that you'll see his face here through Skype, and then but the sound will be fed in through my soundboard, and the quality of the sound will be better than the picture, if that makes sense. So it'll be nice. It's a lot of stuff that I can do, but I need to work with it, and it's going to take me a while to work out all the kinks. But in the meantime, as I learn, I'll add more to the webcast as I go on. And right now I'm working with studying Acts, and I got through the first chapter. I went back and watched it, and it's a little bit painful to watch because I'm real slow in my speech, and just a lot of uhs and trying to like I'm doing right now. So that is something I've got to work on myself. I'm just trying to, sound proper and pronounce my words correctly, and doing so, and plus looking what's on my screen in front of me and doing all the video switches back and forth and stuff like that, so it gets a little overwhelming, and I sound like I'm pausing in between each one of my words for about 30 or longer than what I need to. But anyway, enough of that. I wanted to do this video to give everybody an idea of what the webcast is going to be like and what it's going to be on. It's going to be the Bible. It's going to be Bible study, and I'm starting out with the book of Acts, and it can go and grow as big as that I can imagine and handle, or it can be just as simple as what I can do. Also, it's good to have, in that it streams the live video to YouTube. Now, what's good with YouTube is that it reaches all the way over to the other side of the world. I mean, you can reach so many people on the internet, and this setup that I've got here is secondhand equipment that I've purchased on eBay. Also, I've purchased this switcher board here from a gentleman at the Tri-Cities School of Preaching in Elizabethton. I bought that from him used at a very good price. And the soundboard, the camera, all of this stuff I've purchased throughout the years. And I would say I'd probably, if I had to put a number on it, probably a good 10, 15 years that I've been trying to put this thing together. And the very last piece of the puzzle is this software that I'm using that allows me to do all this stuff, cutting from one screen to the next, and so on and so forth. But it's very inexpensive. I couldn't go out there and buy all this all at one time, and without it being a lot of money. But where I've spread it out for as many years as I have, it's not that expensive. The very last thing I bought was this software, and it is very cheap. So it's what I'm trying to say is, for as many people as YouTube reaches that gospel, the gospel of Christ, you as a preacher, just think of how many people you can reach that you normally could not reach if it was just any other way. I mean, reaching somebody in Africa when you're sitting in a one-horse town in Bluntful, Tennessee, and you're talking to people in Africa or over in Canada or in New York, or, it's overwhelming. And the quality and the professionalism, the professional way that it looks, and all the stuff that you can do, just like a television program, your own TV studio, with just a couple of $100. It's amazing what a person can do with technology nowadays. I mean, now, granted, it's not HD, the camera, it's blurry, but as I continue on and keep adding to it, the camera will get better, the quality will get better. I'll get better as I continue learning, going to school to be a preacher. My speech will get better, and my knowledge will get better, and I'll be able to speak clearly and quickly and get my point across and do it in a way to where people can understand what the gospel is all about, and hopefully obey the gospel. And that's the main point. That's the main reason I'm doing this. Back when I first, when the internet was first introduced to me, it's not been that long ago. The internet's not been that long. I mean, it's fairly new, considering, if you look at radio and television, the internet's only been out there for just a very little while. And the internet of how it is now and how it reaches all over the world in real time. I mean, you can see stuff happening across the seas in these like Syria and Iraq and all these places, war in real time, them fighting in the street as it happens in real time. It's amazing. And a preacher or someone preaching the gospel and trying to get the word of God out there to the masses, I mean, it's for a little bit of money, it's amazing. So anyway, what I was saying was that got off on some kind of tangent there about the internet. But anyway, when it was first introduced to me, seeing that I could do a web show like this or radio, I've always been interested in radio and have my own radio station, which it's morphed into a webcast television. But anyway, it's still along the same lines as a radio station. And, but I never did have anything to talk about. I couldn't talk about things that I was interested in and be able to hold an audience and have listeners with what I was interested in. But the Bible is something that we all are interested in. I mean, you may say that you don't and you're not interested in the Bible, but that is possibly because you've buried it deep inside your subconscious. I think everybody deep down inside they want to know the Bible and they want to understand it. And ain't nobody wants to go to hell. I mean, and if you do, you're kidding yourself, or you're so ate up with evilness that I don't see how anybody would want to go to hell. If they had a millisecond of what hell is going to be like, just a millisecond, a flash in their mind of what hell's going to be like, they would not want to go there. So anyway, this is the show, the webcast. My name's James, and I'm going to continue on with it and keep adding to it and making it better and so on and so forth. And I hope I get listeners. If not, then I'll just keep doing it anyway, and eventually it might reach one individual person out there somewhere that may need it. So that's one way that I'm going to preach the gospel, is through the internet. And I think any preacher out there that has a computer and the internet and Facebook, and they've got a new thing on Facebook now where you can do live shows with your cell phone. It's unreal. It's just so unreal what you can do with technology nowadays. But anyway, this is James, and I'll continue on working with the show, and I look forward to teaching Acts in the next couple of days, Lord willing. And until then, I'll talk with you later. This is James saying, see ya.